definitely my third live. My first one I started in the morning while I was waiting for my client. My second one, I did a short one about Chelsea and Angela from Big Brother 26. And now I am still not finished work, even though my work time officially ends at 4 o'clock p.m. The last time I ever worked this long, in terms of like this many hours per week, was when I was working my factory job when I was like 23, 24. I don't work as many hours as I did then. Then I was working about 60, 12 times 5, 60, sometimes even 70 hours a week, but at least a consistent 60 hours a week. At this job, I would say I probably work approximately 50 hours a week, which I don't even like doing, but there's so many things to get done, and there's so many ways in which they have set me behind, and they're not willing to give me the money that I'm supposed to be getting for all the extra work that they make me do. So I get what I get in overtime. But I'm also very cognizant that giving me overtime money does not make up for the time that you're taking away from my life. I don't like having to spend my outside of work hours, even if I'm paid for that, having to do work stuff because I don't like my job. If I had a job that I really liked, then cool, I can do the extra time, like, because I like what I'm doing. So working a lot doesn't make a big difference. But working a lot and doing something you don't like, the combination is just not fun. So, anyways, I had a topic, and I think this time I'm going to get to stick to the topic. And the topic is Lifetime Achievement Awards. This is something that I struggled with. So when we're talking about Lifetime Achievement Awards and what they're usually for, I know them for movies, when people are doing like acting or something. I guess they could probably be done for other forms of entertainment, or even maybe locally they could be done for people who have just done a particular job for a while, or they served their community for a long time. But I first heard the term Lifetime Achievement Award in reference to movies, and it was for the body of work of what somebody has done over the course of their career. You know, like this person has done X amount of movies, and they have demonstrated excellence, and they have been top quality at their craft, and usually they're older. Hi, everyone who joined. Usually it's like an older person who's been doing the work for a number of years, whatever. So the context that I'm using it for here is sometimes we have people in our lives who have been there for a long time, and because they have been there for a long time, we give them extra rope. Thank you for the sub. We give them extra rope to do things that we wouldn't let a newer person do. So like if somebody does something that you have a strong boundary for, you say to yourself, I have known this person for, let's say, 20 years, and in 20 years they have never crossed this boundary before, and this is the first time that they have done so. So I am not going to cut them off because it's a one-time deal. Now, I am for actually giving somebody who is consistent a longer rope. And what I mean by that is, yes, if I have known this person for so many years, they have been very consistent with me over the course of those years, and they crossed that boundary for the first time ever, I could say benefit of the doubt. Maybe they don't know what that boundary is, like maybe it's a case of I have not really expressed this to them, or we have not been in this type of situation before. So I do give people an extra little bit of rope and benefit of the doubt if I've known them for a while, because I do value consistency. But what I am trying to say, hi Loveth, what I am trying to say is don't keep somebody around just because the amount of time that they have been there. Because I've also experienced people who are trauma bonded with me, or they're people who are actually not even good friends or good people for me anyways, and I'm like, but I've known them for so long, so a part of me feels like I can't let them go. Or somebody who has consistently been good to me during a period of time in my life, but they are consistently not good to me now. Why should I keep them around? Because I keep living in the history of the way that they have been and saying to myself, you know what? This person was so solid from this time to this time. That because of that, they have an unlimited rope to do whatever they want from here. It's something that I have learned over the years, that people can change. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. People could change at any time and for any reason. I'm going to give you guys an example. I had somebody who I was very, very close with at one time in 2000 and let's say about 2014, 15, around that time. We were very close friends. And to the point where, I mean, we had some disagreements here and there, but it wasn't anything major. And this is somebody that I would call on if I ever had a problem, if I ever had an issue, like, this is one of my go-to people. Helped me through a lot of things, emotionally and spiritually, and just, this is just a very, 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 very solid person in my life who is always pouring into my cup, metaphorically. So I'm thinking, this is a lifer, like, this is a lifetime friend. And then one day we get into some kind of business, not business together as in we start a business together, but I'm doing a service, which is videography and photography. And that particular person was one of the first people that I ever did photos and videos for when I had started doing that as a side gig. And so they had something they wanted me to record and take pictures for, to help. I've been tired all day, to help jumpstart their business. So I said, not a problem. We made an agreement on how much they would pay me, when the payment would be made. We made a verbal agreement because I was new to doing that, number one. And number two, I'm like, this is somebody that I can trust. So I don't really have to make a written out contract or anything like that. So everything is locked in. I get all my equipment ready. I had to leave from work to go over to that place, and so I had to bring all my equipment with me. I believe I did not have a car at that time. I did not have a car at the time, so I had to find my way over there, and it took a long time, and it was a little on the expensive side, and I didn't really factor it into what they had to pay me. But that's all on me. That has nothing to do with them. That's all negotiations that I learned from, and I should have thought of then, but you live and you learn. That's neither here nor there. But the agreement that we had verbally was, I get there, I do the video and the picture work, you pay me X amount of dollars, upon when I complete the work. Not complete the work as in send you the footage, but complete the work as in I finished doing the recording and the pictures, and then, I send you the work within a couple weeks. So that was my whole thing going in. Like, in my head, and based on our agreement that we had, I'm getting this money. I'm getting this money as soon as I get there, or like once the event that I'm recording ends. So the event ends, and I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for my money. And the person tells me, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. And as soon as you send me the edited footage of everything that you did today, then you're going to get paid. I don't know if anyone knows anything about that type of work. It doesn't work that way. I have paid for many freelance media people to do work for me, and usually the way that it works is they ask you for a deposit, sometimes half, sometimes less, depending on how much the job is and what that particular practice requires. But you pay a lot of times you pay a deposit, which I didn't make them pay. You sign the paperwork, and then you pay the rest of the money. The deposit holds your spot and is non-refundable. Then when you come and you do the work, it's refundable, but it's only refundable if you don't honor your contract. That's what I'm saying. But in terms of if they were to say, oh, we're not having the event anymore, or we don't need you anymore, we can't pay you the rest, they lose whatever they gave you, because that commits them and locks them in to doing the job, to paying you for the job. So they gave me no deposit. I came in there, I did the work, and now the person is telling me I'm not paying you until I receive the footage. So I was in disbelief. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I wouldn't have even come if I had known that you didn't have the money that you promised that you were going to have. Now, this is somebody that I originally was like, they've never done this to me before, and they've always been such a good friend to me before. We've never had this kind of disagreement or anything like that before. But over some time and over some different things that happened after that, I had to say to myself, well, they have never done that to me before, but they have never been in a position to do that to me before. And I have a saying that I tell people, nothing ever gets discovered in lukewarm water. In other words, if you haven't been in anything with that person that required whatever it was that situation required, you could have just learned that about them on the spot. You could learn a lot about a person in an unexpected moment, and it doesn't mean that because you wouldn't think that the person would do that they wouldn't do that. They might just not have had the opportunity to. So that's why I say you can take the longevity of how long you've known somebody and what they've been to that point as a factor. There's nothing wrong with that, but it shouldn't be your only factor. You should be looking at everything. There are certain things that you might be able to say, I just wouldn't rock with somebody who does this particular thing. Wow, I didn't expect them to do this. This is a thing that makes me think twice. And I've had more recent years kind of things happen to me in which I'm quicker to look at it for what it is instead of to look at it for the amount of time I have invested in that person, because I feel like I've wasted a lot of time over the years giving people second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth chances. I'm not saying don't forgive them, but I'm also saying fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's where I'm going to end it. Please drop a comment, comment, subscribe if you have not done so yet. Super chats are open, super thanks, super likes. Membership is open. And hit the notification bell to get notified of when I drop some more great content. Thank y'all.